Just for some introductions for those of you who don't know who I am, my name's Charlotte Nobbs. I work for the Gen 2 team, and my passion is children and families and how we reach children and families who are outside of church often, though I do still care about children in church as well. And I'm presenting this alongside my friend Deborah. Deborah, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, good evening, everyone. I am a volunteer children and families worker in the Yardley Hastings benefice. Done several things with Charlotte, and she roped me in again. So yeah, just some ideas to share with you that hopefully are simple and ready done for you to use nice and easily.
Thank you, Deborah. So we thought between us what was worth doing this Christmas. And the manner in which we decided worth was based around something that would last into the new year. And that was also simple and easy to do with a good quality to it. You'll already have seen the Padlet board and be able to scroll through all the resources that we talk about in this room. So do go back and have a look. But we're going to just run through a few of those ideas and how you might use them. So I'm going to share my screen now, and I'm going to talk to you about some Christmas chat mats. So I'm just going to try and get those up if it will behave nicely. There we go. Can you see that? So this is a Christmas chat mat that we would hope that you would photocopy onto an A3 piece of paper. So it looks a little bit like a placemat. And it is to be used as a way to share, discuss, and reflect upon the Christmas story. And it could be used in all sorts of ways. And I'm going to run through a few of those ways to give you an idea of how you might use it. You will notice if you look very, very carefully, there are a lot of angels in there and there are a lot of sheep. So these, if you just go, if you were on the Padlet board, you'd be able to scroll this down for yourself. You could use it as an activity in school. We would encourage you to actually photocopy these. Don't just send them the link. A class teacher is really busy, so you want to send her 30 copies per class. Don't expect the school to pay for this. If this is something you're generously wanting to give to school, your only real work in all of this is going to be talking to the school about how they might use it, giving them the bundles, and then giving them the instructions which follow this table. You might like to use it as something that you just offer to the class teachers to use in their school party. You can imagine that many schools might not be able to have their Christmas parties all together, and so they will be running Christmas parties in their classrooms. So these could be placemats in the classroom, or they could be used as part of an RE lesson. And again, you will see after the table, there are instructions about how you might incorporate it into an RE class. It's got all sorts of links in the instructions, different little video clips that you could watch, from just basic Bible storytelling to children retelling the story, which are very, very amusing and children love and are a lovely fun activity for a teacher to be doing towards the end of term when they've run out of energy and you are sharing some beautiful ideas. You could offer to go in and share the Christmas chat mat with the class. And if I just run through to the bottom of the table, you'll see these are all the instructions. Everything you need to know is in there. You could run a class based around that, even if you were not that accomplished at doing things, but I suspect most teachers would just love to have this. You might decide that actually where you want to use the chat mat is in your church service, and you actually use the chat mat as a way of talking about the Christmas story. Now, there are all sorts of ways that you could do this. You could post it out to your families beforehand. If you've got families, you could If you have any way in which you can post it somewhere where people can pick it up and colour it beforehand, or you could give it at the church door for people to look at while you're talking about it. Another possibility is just to post it to the families around your community so that the families can be talking about the Christmas story. Many families might not be able to go into school and see the nativity being acted out this year. We don't know where we're going to be with COVID. Maybe you just want to put it on your web page of your church website. The link is just at the top. Bath and Wells have said that we can use this. That's the PDF for it. You might even like to offer it as a prize at the end of a nativity trail, something to be taken home to be coloured in. Or maybe you're going to have a Christmas party for all your church. What if it was the placemats for that? Maybe you would like to use the placemats for something that is focusing more on homes. Something where a couple of families maybe could meet together, even if it was over Zoom, and just talk through the mat together. Maybe they could set up a little WhatsApp group and just share the pictures that they've coloured in. Everybody likes colouring. It's really good for your mindfulness and your mental health. Maybe your church could just be encouraged to find one other family who they might share it with. Grandchildren might enjoy doing this with grandparents. So that's the chat mat. Lots and lots of ideas of how you can use it on the Padlet board. I'm going to stop sharing that, and Deborah, you're going to share your idea now. Which would you like up first?
I will just do this bit and then I'll have the PowerPoint first, please. So my idea to share with you revolves around some stones, nativity stones. And there's a PowerPoint that goes with this. And the idea is, in its very simplest form, you could email the link to your families or into school, and the children could take part in this at home with their families. Find a few stones in the garden. All you need is a few stones and some felt pens. If you want to take it to the next stage, you could use this around your village as a treasure trail. You could use it in your churchyard. You could use it in your messy church, muddy church. There is a picture of the stone and a QR code for the children to scan. They all seem to like using mum's phone to scan the QR codes. There's a picture so that you can photograph the stone, so you can make them at home if you want to. If you wanted to really go for this, you could put these all round your churchyard with the pens and so on, so that children and families can take part in it and go through the whole trail there and then. The other part of this, encouraging families to come back to church after Christmas, is that we all know that the Bible doesn't tell us that the wise men appeared on the same day as the shepherds. At the end of the trail, you can invite the children to come back to the Epiphany service to hear what really happened. They can then make their wise men's stone as part of your Epiphany service. They can take part in a further sort of quiz about the wise men so that they really understand the story. And if you really wanted to bless those families, you could give them a gold wrapped bar of chocolate, just like the wise men brought the gold to baby Jesus. So there's lots of options as to how you could use it. And on my grid, if I could just have the other slide, Charlotte, please. In a similar way to Charlotte's mat, which showed you how you could use it in schools, communities and at home, there's a grid for the activity trail as well, and it tells you exactly how you could use it in the different formats. I'll just show you. There's two options with the stones. You can either draw them, or good old Baker Ross, it shows you on here. You could buy the stickers and just put the stickers out and find the stones in the garden. So if you wanted to buy bigger pebble type things, it tells you there where you can buy them from. And then if you scroll down through the PowerPoint, you can see different ideas for using it in school as a trail around your playground, or just sending the link, which is on the next page. Just get the school to send it home to the families, and you don't need to do anything else at all. The children will be able to interact. They'll hear the story of Christmas, and you need to do nothing. So it's as simple as that if you want it to be. You can enhance it as much as you want to by making it into a trail, using it in the community with decorated windows. You could decorate the stones already if you've got a lot of crafty people who like doing that sort of thing, and the children could just collect them around the village. So it's really up to you how simple you want to make it. So, you know, different ideas, different ways of using it. It's a completely editable PowerPoint. So you can personalize it to your own church, your own village. You can add a map if you want to do it around windows. So you can edit it. You can add the details of your Epiphany service with an invitation to your families. So really it's where you want to go with it, but it can also be very, very simple in that there is a link there just to send out to your families. They can find a few stones in the garden, a few felt pens, make a set of stones and retell the story at home. Thank you, Charlotte. So as I said, you can either use the good old Baker Ross. I'm sure everybody knows Baker Ross, but there is a link on there to get the stickers. Or if you wanted to do the sort of bit more drawing and a bit more artistic, that mine aren't very artistic, I have to say, but in their basic form, they look a bit like an angel. So it's really up to you where you want to go with it. There's lots and lots of different options. It can be as simple as just using that link, or as I say, you can go for it and have a trail, you know, around the village, around the churchyard, in the church, whatever feels right at the time with whatever restrictions we're facing.
Thank you, Deborah. Right, I'm going to share another one. Here we go. So this is a really simple idea. As we said, we are really keen to do something that takes us into the new year. So often we put a huge amount of effort into things like big carol services, crib services with large numbers of people. And then we don't see them until the following year. And so this is something where we're hoping we can just encourage our churches to build relationship. So what if everybody during Advent in our churches was encouraged to adopt someone who they are going to build relationship with who does not normally come to church? Now, when I say adopt someone, it would be lovely if it was adopt a family with children. Might be someone who just passes your gate every day and you just make it your business to say hello to them without being too weird. But it could be that you adopt a granny or a married couple, that everybody is working hard to build relationship with someone who is different from their normal circle of friends. And they just choose to do something as simple as go for a walk or share a hot chocolate or something like that with them before Christmas. And if that's gone quite well, before they finish, at that point, they book something for the new year. New Year can be quite a blue kind of time. It's a long month. So let's put it in the diary because we know what it's like. It's going to be dark. It's going to be grey. We could really do with some company. And then maybe, just maybe, there is the possibility of between those two social occasions, you invite them to something that is going on, like the crib service or the carol service. But whatever, it is about the church deciding to do something simple in terms of relationship over Christmas. I'm going to stop sharing that one. And I have another one to share that I'm not going to put on screen. It's a very simple resource that you can use in school or in your messy churches or in your all-age services. It's a very simple and rather amateur kitchen table production of Christmas told with puppets that has no copyright attached to it. But what we would encourage is if you are going to use it and send it into school, please add about a minute of you speaking and greeting the children and the families, because we really want the story to be associated with your church rather than someone called Charlotte Nobbs, who they've never met, who's holding lots of puppets. That means nothing. But what actually matters is the relational. So if you've got a little bit of editing skill, just to add a minute of greeting and blessing to them. But you can use that anywhere. And again, you'll find that on the Padlet board. And one final thing to share, I'm just going to get this up. This is something for teenagers. It's a bit of a mix between, I would say, our present culture and the nativity story all mixed together. So can you see that first clue? Which takeaway food is very popular in Japan as a Christmas Day meal? Does anybody have an idea? Have a go, George.
Is it KFC?
You are so right. So you would be on to the next one. And the idea is that the clues, you can put them wherever you like to answer them. They don't have to be in order. They just go through the story. They're a little bit of fun. They're not too heavy. I think sometimes teenagers and young people find the stuff that we do around the nativity a little bit twee. I reckon you could use this with young adults. I reckon you could use this at many a Christmas fun thing. It's just to create conversation. But at the end, when you do get to the end, we would really, really, really encourage you to have some kind of reward, something that is like a chocolate bar, something that just says, well done, that you've done it. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing that one. There we go. And those are all our suggestions. We don't have any other suggestions. Those are they so far. I wonder if anybody's got any questions, comments, or anything that they might like to share about simple ideas that they have for Christmas amongst children, families, young people.
The thing that we've used before, which is also kind of ready-made, is the something fish from the Diocese of Gloucester. They've got the Christmas experience that you can, and that's really, really good. We've had that with the schools coming to the church, a class at a time, and they go around the church. Do you know what it is, Charlotte?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I will get it up for you. But I agree. Explain it to us.
So it's the story of Christmas, but you have about 8 to 10 stations. So, for example, there might be something to do with the shepherds. There's one where you set up a little campfire with the shepherds.
Jumping fish. Is it jumping fish?
Jumping fish. That's it. Yeah, yeah. And it gives you all the ideas. You go around. Following it. It's almost like the children are actually there experiencing it. It's really brilliant, and it was quality. So the teachers loved it. In fact, the teachers didn't need to be taking part. We gave the teachers a cup of tea and a mince pie while we took them round, so they just sat and relaxed. So I really recommend that as well.
Thank you, Emma. That's brilliant. Thank you. It's also something you can set up in your church, maybe not as simple, and it does require probably more people. So again, you just need to be mindful of that as well. If you're going to set something up in church rather than in school, does require a little bit of energy.
If you don't mind my asking, I think I found the jumping fish resource because I'm very much looking into the different ones. I've been used to using, and I'm open to suggestions. I'm being used to using a presentation called Christmas Unwrapped by the Bridge Builder Trust. Heard of that one?
Yes.
My question is, do you know if any other churches in Northampton might have used or do that and shared resources? Basically, it uses the large screens, so 6 of them, with the Christmas story on, and a part of that presentation is the children go out and find the information and write in booklets. I was going to send you an email on that.
Yeah, I don't know, but if I hear of anybody, Griff, I will put them in touch with you to do that. Again, we would just encourage simplicity. If there's any way in which you can make things light and of good quality, we would really encourage it. So if it brings a strain to you, if it feels like it's just one thing too much, do listen to that. We're really trying to encourage that if that is the case. So it feels like something that you can run with and your creative juices are on fire with it, we would encourage that.
Believe it or not, it's quite easy because it's not volunteer intensive.
Fabulous.
So that's why I'm looking at that resource, because volunteers is the key thing for myself.
I will ask and I will see if I can connect anybody with you, because that would be really good. Thank you.
Charlotte, we've got a screen that drops down from behind the chancel arch and a projector. Is there anything that you know that we could use on that?
It depends what you're wanting to do. I would say if you looked at the Bible chat mat, you could definitely project that up there. And you could also project some of the videos that we're encouraging that tell the Christmas story really well. You don't need to do a big production to tell the Christmas story really well. I know often we like doing that. But again, the video links are all on there if you want to use that. So I would have a look through some of the ideas, both on Deborah's suggestions, because you could even do just a quiz, just running through the PowerPoints that we've presented as a bit of Christmas fun.
Thank you.
I see the session's going to end soon, so just wanted to say thank you. That's really lots of food for thought there.
Oh, I'm really glad.